Detective Jane Hopper stood alone in the abandoned apartment, her gloved hand tracing the peeling wallpaper. The place smelled of dust and old secrets. There was no body, no weapon, but there was a crime scene, and it had been staged with a message, just not in writing. The call had come in just after dawn. Possible kidnapping. Apartment 4C. Signs of a struggle. The uniforms who arrived first expected a corpse. Instead, they found chaos. Drawers overturned. Furniture shoved aside. A lamp head down on the carpet like it had collapsed mid-scream. A half-packed suitcase lay open by the door. And on the bedroom wall, someone had smeared the dusty outline of a phrase. Not with ink or blood, but with their fingertips. The letters weren't there, yet Jane could see the intent. Expect the truth. It wasn't written. It was suggested, like the wall had swallowed the confession before it could be spoken. Jane crouched to examine the carpet. No signs of blood, she murmured, relieved. Whoever had been here was alive when taken. The neighbors heard a shout around midnight, then a crash, then silence. Her partner, Officer Daniel Reeve, entered holding a stack of mail. The tenant is Amelia Corrin, freelance investigative writer. Look at this. She's been corresponding with someone called J. Strathmore. Jane raised an eyebrow. Ring any bells? Reeve shook his head. Jane scanned the wall again. Why trace a phrase without finishing it? Why hint at truth, then vanish? She stepped back, eyeing the room from Amelia's perspective. Across from the bed, she saw a cluster of small reflective squares, shards of a shattered picture frame. When she crouched again, she spotted something in the debris, a tiny recording chip. She picked it up carefully. She hid this behind the frame. Reeve's eyes widened. Think it recorded the struggle? I think it's why she was taken. Back at the precinct, the text extracted the audio. A shaky voice played through the speaker. If you go after them, they will bury you in rumors. Truth is dangerous in the wrong hands. Expect a crash, a muffled cry, then the thump of footsteps and a door slamming. The message ended just where the wall message had begun. Jane leaned over the desk, thinking. Amelia's confession wasn't on the wall. It was cut off, unfinished both in word and in action. And whoever took her didn't want the full truth spoken. What was she investigating? Jane asked. Reeve scrolled through her laptop files. Corporate finance scandals. Anonymous donations to election campaigns. Nothing dramatic yet. He clicked a folder. Password locked. Jane thought again about the half-packed suitcase. Amelia had tried to leave. She knew someone was coming, but she still paused long enough to make a message. Something only a trained eye would recognize as deliberate. A thought struck her. She didn't write with dust on the wall. She erased dust. This wasn't a message for a panic moment. It was slow enough to be intentional. Reeve blinked, meaning she wanted to show the phrase wasn't finished, that the truth is missing, something incomplete. That evening, Jane returned to the apartment alone. She turned off the lights and shone a forensic UV beam across the wall. Hidden underneath the smeared letters were faint, invisible ones, the kind left by heat-activated ink. Now it read clearly. Expect the truth. 4539. 4539, Jane whispered. A code? A date? A safe combination? She scanned the room. Nothing obvious, until she opened the apartment's old radiator panel. Inside, taped to the metal, was a tiny flash drive. At the lab, they opened the files. Emails, financial spreadsheets, bank transactions linking a powerful lobbying group to several public officials. It wasn't a rumor. It was explosive evidence. This is why they took her, Reeve said, stunned. And why she expected the truth to be found, Jane replied. The case turned into a storm. Arrest warrants, subpoenas, news headlines screaming corruption. But one fact kept pressing at Jane's conscience. Amelia was still missing. A week later, a letter arrived at the precinct, addressed to Jane personally. Inside, a single sheet. You finished my message. Thank you. I'm safe. Let the truth speak louder than my name. AC. Jane closed her eyes, relief washing through her. No location, no details, but no plea for help either. Amelia had escaped her captors, or perhaps someone helped her vanish. Either way, she was alive. Reeve read over her shoulder. "Think we'll ever find her?" Jane folded the letter carefully. "I think she doesn't want me found. Not by us, not yet." She smiled faintly. Some confessions don't belong on walls. They belong in the world. As she placed the letter into evidence, she noticed the faint imprint of dust on her own fingertips from the crime scene. The same dust Amelia had used to draw attention to her unfinished words. The wall had never held a confession. The investigation did. And now, the truth was no longer unwritten. Subscribe to Crime Scenes Point 1 for more jaw-dropping true crime narratives.